Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the video, which, believe it or not, is fish room log number 80. We're certainly getting up in the numbers with this. And this, of course, is the indoor pond, and as you can see, the guppies are growing really well. They're pretty much tripled in size now, and I think I can call this a success as far as their ability to stay in here and grow and not having any issues. So I'm definitely going to be adding more to this. I have a lot more babies, so we'll be adding those shortly, and we're going to fill this sucker up. This is also a success. This was a little bit of an experiment. It's just a terracotta pot with a grate in the bottom, a bunch of gravel, and some air bubbling through it. And this peace lily was originally mostly underwater. And as you can see, it sent up a bunch of new leaves, and it's doing really well. So I'm quite happy with that too. And there's the overflow for the pond. I haven't had any guppies showing up in the part below, so that is working out quite well. This still here is to show you that the pump gets a little dirty every now and then. As you can see, the two final jets, the ones in the back here, are slowing down sufficiently that they're missing the tray. One of them is just deflecting off a leaf there, and it is still watering it, so I haven't done anything about it yet. I need to change something of that. Either I'm going to add a couple of nipples on there so that it sprays into the container, or there's a little 1/4-inch trim that goes around on the inside of the entire inside of the pond. I might just nick off the back corners of these trays, and then they'll slide further back. And that'll also take care of it. We'll see how that goes. This is a review I don't really take too much, but I decided to show you because you can see a couple of the males are beginning to color up. So this is going to grow into something really quite interesting soon, I hope. I want to show you this because it is now ready for fish. Everything's done what it needs to do. The tank is actually looking really well, and unfortunately I don't have any more female bettas to put in here, so I am going to be pulling him out, putting him in his own aquarium, and I'm going to convert this a little bit, and I am going to divide up my Gardener Achille setup. There's a lot of them in there now, so I want to get another breeding colony of that going, and they're going to go in there. And believe it or not, I've actually done a fair amount of work in the fish room. I don't really show you this whole row very often. I think I showed you the OB zebras on the far left once or twice, and of course the baby OB, apparently I have an awful lot of OBs, convicts, but not lately. The two tanks on the right I completely cleaned out. The one on the far right was originally my scud culture, but I have those two in the far end now, so I am going to set those up for fish. I'm not sure what's going to go in them yet, but we'll figure that out. This filter is still acclimating. It hasn't really done anything other than churn through an awful lot of air and water. I like it, but I've come up with another idea, or two more ideas for it, which will be coming up. One will be on Wednesday's video. I want to do an experiment about sponge filters and how much sponge is actually necessary for a sponge filter to do what it needs to do. Definitely going to be one of those long-term experiments, but it will definitely be coming up shortly. You'll see that on Wednesday. This is the Big Brother filter in the 7-foot tank, and it is sending up an awful lot of shoots. It is doing really well. Actually, it's doing better than the Little Brother one, but then again, it has a lot more surface area and a fair amount more water going through it because it has two inputs instead of just the one. This tank is crystal clear all the time, and there really is no complaints for it. I mean, these two filters are doing an amazing job for the amount of water that it has to filter. Admittedly, all that's in it now is a couple of dozen angelfish and a very small number of guppies. But then again, it is sufficient for this. So there's Ripley. She's doing really quite well. I'm very happy with her. She's always active and attentive. She's not as big as her siblings, though, of course. And I need to stop feeding in this corner. As you can tell, they always go over there to get food. I have to start feeding in the middle of the tank to train them over to use up more of the aquarium. Now, I have been trying to figure out a better way of recording how these cultures are doing. I wanted to try this method, which is just to hold them up and then show you what they look like, and hopefully give you a good idea of how well the cultures are doing. But they, unfortunately, the angle's not quite right. Did all 10 of them, which, by the way, I'm up to 10 now of these. I'm very happy with how they're doing. They're clear all the time now. The ones on the right are ones that I've just recently set up, so there's not quite as much in them. But believe it or not, there's an awful lot more in them than this version of filming them shows. I'm going to switch back in a second here to the more traditional one, which is hold them up to the light. Yeah, this method doesn't work. It just unfortunately does not show you what's going on. But that's okay. That's not a big deal. So last step for this is to set up a 15-gallon tank and get a really large culture of this going, which will be next. So you can see on the left now, that's the full 10 of the larger cultures, the ones with the sea shrimps and Daphnia and Cyclopses. And you can see when you hold up the light, they're just teeming with fish, with organisms. And this was just set up, but you can see if you look in there, there is an awful lot of activity, and a lot of it's down near the bottom, so you can't really see it in the other way of filming it, but this way you can actually get to see it, and it's really quite good. And I'm going to show you a couple more of the other ones, the ones that are mostly paramecia with a little bit of cyclopses in them, and again, they're doing really quite well. I'm very happy with how this has all worked out. And remember, in the beginning of the summer, my plan was to be able to get some stable cultures going, and I've definitely accomplished that, so I'm very happy with how, like I said, how this all goes. The next culture I'm going to show you here is probably the most successful one. Sorry for the odd angle in the filming here, but unfortunately, there is a disadvantage of doing it this way. That's why I was trying to deal with the other one. You can see an awful lot of paramecia in that as well, which is kind of nice. So what I'm going to do here is, the last clip is going to be of the Pleco Tank, and it's just tossed in there as kind of a funny thing, really. I've been recently trying to get it to be clear. It's fine, but Plecos get fed an awful lot of food, and it's always just a little bit cloudy. It's a lot clearer now that I stopped feeding the pellet foods and I'm feeding more frozen veggies. But I wanted to clear it up. So what I did is I put in the Diatom Filter. This is the second charge. It still isn't clear. Next week I'll let you know how many charges it took to get this completely clear. Should be interesting, but that was, like I said, it's just a funny aside. So thank you very much for watching. The very last section of this clip is going to be of the tank above and what my tanks normally look like. But then again, you see most of my aquariums, so it's not really a big deal. Leave comments, let me know what you think. As far as the next couple of weeks go, my scheduling might change a little bit for putting up videos. I do want to get a live stream in there as well, but we are getting into the Christmas season, so we'll see how that all goes. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.